If it's not in my garbage can, don't throw it away. Okay, Karen. I guess I'll leave all of the trash you throw around on the floor as well. This happened before I graduated college. I was working a part-time housekeeping job for a doctor's office after closing. The most annoying thing was the blatant disregard from the people who worked there. In particular, the women at the front portions of the office would throw trash everywhere and not put it in the can. Under their desk, the floor would be covered in trash, right around the trash can, and most of the time I wouldn't even have to change the garbage bag. Just dump the very few pieces that managed to get in the can and then literally crawl around under the desk on my hands and knees, picking up all their shit. I'm talking paper thrown everywhere, old folders they'd clean out from closets, candy wrappers, tuna cans, you're eating tuna in an office, and thousands of peanut shells. To name a few. They just didn't care. The amount of lazy you have to be to throw garbage right beside the can and not in it astounds me. I never complained to anyone about it because even though it pissed me off, I figured it was less effort to just pick it up. That is, until I got a note. A very passive-aggressive note from a particular messy woman, letting me know I threw her calendar away, and why would I ever do such a thing? 1. The calendar was propped up against her garbage can. That's usually the universal sign of, hey, this needs to be thrown away, and they threw stuff like that away all the time. Why put it there if it isn't trash? 2. There's so much garbage all under your desk every single night. How am I supposed to know when something isn't trash? 3. It isn't my job to determine what is and what isn't to be thrown away. It was my bad that I threw the calendar away because I didn't pay attention to the dates or anything on it. Like I said, there's always shit everywhere, but when I got this note, I was pissed. The nerve, after I spend so much unnecessary time cleaning up garbage that you can't be bothered to actually put in your trash cans because you're too lazy? Fine. If it's not in my can, don't touch it. You got it. I won't touch anything that isn't in your garbage can. I left everything that was on the floor exactly where it was and just changed the bags. Needless to say, she didn't like that, and complained to my supervisor. My response was, but I was just doing exactly what she told me to do. Shrug. My petty ass was pleased. Edited to say, my supervisor told the office manager that if they wanted their trash taken out, then they were to put it in the trash can. Otherwise, nothing would be thrown away, with the exception of boxes labeled trash that were too big for cans.
Now to the comments. Okay, I am just picturing her pulling out all her different highlighters to circle and underscore stuff, and God just plain duck this entitled asswitch.
She spent more effort on the note than she did on actually using the trash can.
Probably more effort than whatever her job is. I can see some long-term employee whose job is basically replying to emails having enough free time to handwrite this passive-aggressive note. What happened after she complained and you replied?
OP replied. My supervisor told the office manager that if they wanted their trash taken out, then they were to put it in the trash can. Otherwise, nothing would be thrown away, with the exception of boxes labeled trash that were too big for cans.
It's great that your supervisor backed you. Holy shit, that note is so incredibly unprofessional. It's like the signs kids make for their doors telling people not to enter their room.
I actually thought it was written by someone's kid/child sibling when I first saw the post.
Honestly, you had no choice. I once gave a Karen-esque roommate a roll of stickers. She never threw her shit in the bin, but left it everywhere. I told her to place a sticker on anything of hers that was trash. Does that mean you'll toss them for me? No. It just means your shit will be color coordinated. Witches.
That's ridiculous that she'd be more than happy to go through the effort of putting stickers on them, but not just put it in the bin.
My point. She just needed a visual learning aid. My petty ass was pleased. How are you petty for this? Good on you for putting her in her place. Good for you and your manager. You've got enough to do without encouraging slovenly/lazy behavior. I used to have an endodontics office as a customer. One of the girls there, who worked as a nurse/tech/whatever they're called, also did the housekeeping. She was complaining to me about her co-workers just dropping trash, knowing that she had to clean it up. She was their equal during the day. Note: I don't believe that there are really any lesser jobs. Be nice to everyone. That receptionist that you're yelling at today may be the person making important decisions about you later on. That note. This is a woman who has just discovered colors, and would like everyone to please see how impressive that is. This was in a doctor's office? Glad I didn't have that, doctor. I worked at a college after hours as a janitor. One evening one of our guys called in sick and I was asked to clean the library. Just as my shift started, the boss handed me a sheet and told me to keep track of what I did and how long it took. Some management thing. So, I swept the library floors and did a few other things, then went behind the counter to dump the trash and sweep. I just remembered I was supposed to be writing stuff down and of course didn't have a pen. At that time of night there was only one person working. Well, guess I was rude when looking for a pen. I opened up a desk drawer a few inches and took out a pen, closed the drawer and started my paperwork. I looked up to see the librarian staring at me with eyes just staring at me. I emptied the trash and swept and went to write my time down using some sort of counter. While doing so I noticed a cartoon under plastic covering. I read the cartoon and noticed several others and I read them. There were a few books on the counter and I picked them up, read the cartoons and put the books back right where they came from. Looking up, the librarian was still glaring at me. I didn't care and being done I left. Next day I go to work and boss calls me to the office and asked what I did in the library the night before. Told him swept and emptied the trash. Seems the brain reported that I was going through desk drawers and was moving stacks of books around. Told him all I did was open a desk drawer enough to get a pen and even put it back and that I had moved books but put them right back where they came from. He said, yeah, watch yourself over there. We have had other wild claims from her of our guys doing stuff and they all pretty much say what you kind of said. Just clean and don't touch anything. She is a little nuts. Did exactly that when I got there. Didn't write anything down and she watched me like a hawk.
This is why that librarian fits the lonely spinster stereotype. Betcha. I'm saying this as an old granny with a couple of librarian friends who do not fit that mold. Those gals are my age or older and they know what's what. Winky.
From the way the boss talked, she was just a bit nutty. Not the first paranoid exaggerator I've come across. I just didn't get close to her and moved quickly to get out of her sight. Wife and I were having a garage sale and some of our family put items in with us. They came over for 2 days to help set up and parked on the street behind our house as there were no houses on one side and we didn't have a backyard fence. Day of the sale some woman came over and complained to my wife about us blocking her street with all the cars. Wife tried to reason with her but finally had to tell her to leave. The woman called the cops. Tells the cop her whole HOA was upset we were blocking the street. We knew the HOA had went defunct years before. We had been parking there all week. Blah blah blah. Cop told her that our cars were not blocking traffic and there was plenty of parking that wasn't even needed and we could park our cars for a week without moving them. I feel like this post is the embodiment of what this sub is about. You're going above and beyond to help people out and then get called out by someone who is entitled, so you stop being helpful. I can just imagine her coming in the next couple days like useless cleaners can't even do their job. Some people are so clueless. Next time, for a bit of flair, have an overly large sign professionally printed with, "Please be advised that from now on only trash that has made it into the can will be taken out," obviously with highlighter all over it. Then place it on her desk and carefully place all the rubbish around it.
Similar to Judge Judy cases. The plaintiff will sue the defendant, and the defendant always has the choice to countersue as well. Sometimes she will find the plaintiff to be wrong/dismiss their case, but then go on to rule in favor of the defendant's counterclaim. So then the plaintiff ends up paying LOL, like it would have been better for them to keep their big mouth shut in the first place.